can only try your best. Enjoy the moment.
Belief is key. Fear is not an option.
The first time is the hardest. The pressure is all on him.
He may have won one final, but he's also lost a final.
My title, my terms, my place in history.
I need this. This is my time. I want the Triple Crown.
Good evening from Alexandra Palace. You know, you can be king of the mind game, but it's doing it out here, on here, that counts. In this year's final of the Dafabet Masters, world number one, Neil Robertson of Australia, has looked imperious, unbeatable almost so far this week, brushing aside Ali Carter and Ronnie O'Sullivan for the loss of only 2 frames. And yet he was the one under pressure in a quite stunning opening session from England's Shaun Murphy. Snooker's magician is on a mission.
Well, both players virtually missed nothing in the semi-final and they were looking for a good start. Neil Robertson got in early, but what an unexpected miss on the pink. Well, after missing that easy pink in the first frame, probably knocked his confidence a little bit, but he had a chance here. He had to force the blue in to get up to the 2 reds that he wanted to get on, and he took his eye off the pot and hit it a little bit too hard. Another unexpected miss. Well, Shaun was growing in confidence and he was right in amongst the balls, and he played a little bit of a careless shot and didn't drop on the green as he intended. But what did he do? He got down, potted the green with loads of screw and right hand side and come out onto the reds. That was a fabulous shot, and he went on to make a 1-2-7, 3-0. And this looked a very easy shot. It was an easy pot, but just look how he played it with topspin and developed the black and pushed it over the pocket. And he went on to take that frame as well. You can't do better than win the first 4 frames.
Well, the 5th frame was very important for Neil Robertson, having lost the first 4. To be fair, Shaun Murphy had wobbled a bit, but he needed the 3 remaining reds. And this was a superb shot and good thinking. Shaun played this red, played it as a shot for nothing, didn't really fully commit, went twice across the table, landed up over the corner pocket. Neil Robertson needed to make the most of the opportunity, and he did with a break of 80. First frame on the board. How Shaun Murphy would react. He needed to push on, and he come very badly hampered by the red. A lot of people at the time thought, did he foul the red? He didn't. He'd have called it if he had done, and he went on to make a framing break of 69. Last frame of the session. Neil Robertson, there was just an edge of this red, and I said at the time, if you play this with left-hand side, hit the cushion first. The one thing he didn't want to do was hit the red too thick. He didn't. He played it to absolute perfection and snookered Shaun. So that snooker forced a mistake from Shaun. He left this long pot on, but there was pressure on everything for Neil Robertson. This was going to be the difference between being 6 frames behind in the evening session or 4, and he slotted this red in beautifully. And this could give him the confidence. It's a big, big difference. 6 behind or 4 behind. Still hope for the Australian.
It remains to be seen how important the last frame of that session will be in the context of the match. But from Neil Robertson's perspective, he'll be happier knowing he finished off the session more competitively than he started it off.
Shaun Murphy may well have suffered the disappointment of losing the final frame of that opening session, but he'll do well to reflect on the fact he takes a 4-frame lead into tonight's final session. And if somebody had offered him that at the start of the match, he'd have bitten the hand off.
Neil Robertson would do well to remember that the start of every session is effectively the start of a new match. If he can get off to a good start this evening, he's got the competitive momentum.
Shaun will do well to forget that he needs this championship to complete the triumvirate. Already a world and UK champion, he'd be best advised to ignore the winning post.
Even though it's going to be an uphill climb for Neil Robertson this evening, he's the underdog, so to some degree that takes the pressure off.
So with a 6-2 lead, Shaun starts tonight's session as a heavy odds-on favourite. So let's get to the action.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2005 champion of the world, Shaun Murphy. And now, please welcome the world #1, Neil Robertson.
Everybody's up for this tonight in Alexandra Palace. All right, Murphy needing 4 more frames for a cheque of £200,000, and with it the missing piece of a career puzzle. Robertson knows he has to win 8 of the 11 remaining frames this evening. Ken Doherty, John Virgo have witnessed some heads-shaking comebacks on evenings like this before, haven't we, fellas?
We certainly have,
Shaun
Hazel.
Murphy to break.
What a reception for both players, and what an atmosphere we've got here in the Alexandra Palace Arena. Shaun Murphy gets the evening session underway. Good length for the cue ball, and you're going to get that tonight, Ken. Every shot will be greeted with a tremendous round of applause. It's some atmosphere.
It's making the hairs at the back of my neck stand up, John. And anyway, I don't know what it's like for these two players out there, but what an atmosphere. Fantastic reception. We know how crowds love a comeback, and they certainly want to see plenty of frames tonight, but what can Neil Robertson do? Must get off to a good start. Imperative for him to get this first frame on the board. Well, that's a good start. And the safety is going to have to be very, very good tonight, John, because anything Shaun Murphy saw, particularly from distance and when he was in the balls, he was just playing so good that he's going to have to hide that white at every opportunity.
Yes, he's going to put pressure on every department. And the long pot success, well, Shaun 50%, it could be higher. But Neil Robertson, who we regard as probably the best potter in the world, 43% long pot success. That's low for Neil. Obviously not a path or an easy path through to get the cue ball back to the baulk end. He contemplated coming off the side cushion, but there's a loose reds on either side of the cluster. As we see the high breaks of the two players, this is the virtual image. Here's the player's point of view, and there isn't a direct route back to baulk. Got to be careful here. Played it well, and I think he's put the cue ball in a safe area. That's all he could do.
Somewhere down behind the green, but he's got to get it tight to the ball cushion. Just makes cueing a bit more difficult, and it's pretty good. Got to be careful here. Doesn't want to knock a red towards the corner pocket. He's played it pretty well. He played it hard enough to come back towards the pack.
Typical opening frame of a session. Tentative. Who's going to get the first chance? Another good length of cue ball from Shaun. It looked like it was going to be a good reply, but as I've said on many occasions, you've got to avoid the baulk colours if you're going to make it a good safety. Catching the brown full in the face, left the cue ball on the baulk line, and I think there's a red that will go to the right corner.
Yes, and taking this on, he may be able to stun between pink and red here. Reds for the black. Great shot. Oh, what an opener. What an opener. Finished a bit low on the black, but he's got a lovely angle, John, to go into the pack here.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, there's a lot of pressure on Neil Robertson not to leave long pots on. In goes the black. He's just about on a red to the right middle. It could have been better.
8.
What a terrific opening pot. Well, there's one to the right middle. They always look easier from the top here. And there may be one to the left middle. But the one to the right middle looks the better choice. Well, he's decided he's going to play this one to the far right corner. No. I could only assume he played it in such a way where he was thinking he could leave the cue ball where he didn't leave anything. I don't think that is the case. I think he's left an easy starter for Neil Robertson.
Yeah, that was a mistake from Shaun Murphy. He wanted to, when taking on that red, push the cue ball past the pack there to cover that easy opener. Watch the cue ball here. Wanted to push that cue ball just another couple of inches to the left, and he wouldn't have been on this starter, and that was a misjudgment. Now, these are the type of opportunities that Neil must take.
Yeah, when you're close to the cushion like this, there's not a lot you can do. You just hope that the potting angle on the blue, the cue ball will just run into other reds. He potted the blue and he got the kiss, and it was a good one. It's perfect.
6.
Just slightly hampered by this red. Going to try and stun out just for the black into the opposite corner pocket here. Pink also available.
7.
Okay. Got the easy red to
13.
the right corner. Just checking to see if the black goes into the opposite corner pocket. Maybe it doesn't. But I think the pink's available to the left middle, so it shouldn't be a problem for position. That black looks tight, doesn't it? But as I say, the pink is available.
Yeah, if you can get the cue ball into somewhere near that little round circle I put in there, should be okay for the pink into the left centre. It's never easy when you're using the long rest and extension. Sometimes you get into the cue ball sometimes a little bit too much, but he's judged it nicely. And I think the bottom of the two reds to the left of the pink will, the bottom one will pot into this bottom right hand corner pocket, so it doesn't have too much work to do with the cue ball here.
Well, I don't see any reason why he would want to hold the pink spot. If he has, the pink will go on the highest available, which is a brown spot. Might not make any difference, but I'd rather a pink stayed on its spot here. It's just a second choice for position if you don't get
21.
nicely on a red to play for the black.
$28. $29. $36. $37. $44.
36 points the lead. Still 91 remaining, so quite a bit to do yet to get past the winning line in this frame. Certainly not straightforward.
45.
But he'd be glad of the opportunity. Big frame, this opening one, this evening session for Neil. Now, would like to cannon the red close to the cushion. He didn't get the cannon, but he's okay. He's landed on the one to the left middle.
50.
That's really the last of the easy reds to play on. So imperative he gets a good angle now on the black. Oh, that's careless.
51.
That's so careless. The one thing he didn't want to do there was leave himself hampered. Poor shot, you've got to say.
Neil Robertson,
well,
51.
What a lovely little kiss for Neil Robertson there. That little kiss in the blue may have blocked the path of one of these reds into the corner pocket. Shaun Murphy having a look at it, looking at his body language, it may pot. Well, it just about does pot. I thought it may have
Can you
blocked
just stay there, please? You've been asked to stay still during the frame.
A little disturbance in the crowd there. Someone moving, but hasn't disturbed Shaun Murphy's concentration. Now, chance for a counter-attack. Balls aren't nicely positioned, but get a few points on the board. Nice angle on this red to bring the blue and red into play as well, if he wishes.
8.
May just hold for the black.
Thank you. 9.
He can go into that blue and red now if he chooses. Well, this is a tough shot, isn't it, John? I mean, he's got to play the red into the green pocket, but he's got to play it with a lot of pace. It makes the shot so much more difficult.
Shaun Murphy, 16.
Yeah, I think he was only just playing the pot, and if he'd got the pot, would have played a snooker. He didn't play with all the pace that was needed, and well, once it came back towards the cue ball, a bit fortunate not to leave an easier shot for Neil Robertson than this, but Neil will be kicking himself his last visit to the table. That poor positional shot on the black. Double kiss, the dreaded double kiss. So he left a chance for Shaun, but the way the balls are, the red near the blue, the one on the left-hand side cushion, it's no easy chance. And Shaun still 27 points behind.
One.
Not the best positional shot. It was always
7.
difficult to get good position on this red, but looked risky to play the pot for me here, particularly with that cue ball tight against the side cushion.
Great shot. Because he was so tight to the side cushion, couldn't get the cue ball away from the cushion. And
well, that's why I questioned whether he was going to play the pot. Okay, it was a good pot, but he was never going to be on a colour. He's got an extra point out of it, that's all. 19 points behind, 43 remaining.
just looking at
Yellow ball.
trying to put the cue ball somewhere behind the brown on this ball cushion. Trying to
Shaun
cover the
Murphy.
red on the left. Hasn't quite done that.
Good shot. just half covering this red, so he's got to be very precise, otherwise he'll get a double kiss and could leave this red on. Just managed to avoid the double kiss, and he'll like the way this red's going. That's nice. Surely not a plant. Ooh, it's not far off. I think if they were very close together, he could possibly make it, but I'm not certain how much of the reds he can hit. With the green blocking the path, maybe.
Well, there's a possible shot on here, John. Cushion first, lots of right-hand side. The cue ball will miss the blue and the black and bring it back into balk, and may get the plant as well. Watch the cue ball, though. He's played this really well. He's played it very, very well indeed. I think he's covered the red. What an excellent shot he's played there.
Very good. And as we can see, he's just covered that red near the corner pocket. And Shaun covered on the other one. 19 points behind. He's got to get it safe. Here we see the shot that Ken described. Of course, it helped that the blue was adjacent to that corner pocket, but nevertheless, good shot. And that's all that Shaun could do. But you just feel at the moment it's advantage Neil Robertson in this tactical exchange.
Yeah, normally, player try and put the red into the middle of the table, cue ball behind the black, but the blue was probably a bigger target here. 1, 2, possibly 3 cushions behind the blue, red into balk area. Yeah, he tried to get it over there, but it's not too bad.
Caught that much too thick, but fortunately for Shaun, the red careered into the green and kept it at that end of the table.
A wonderful, clever shot. Not quite sure whether he's got the full cover in the red on the right-hand side. Well, he has. Very clever shot from Neil Robertson. Well, Shaun Murphy can come off the side cushion and try and drop on the red that's on the nearest the ball cushion. Dead weight, but he's got to be very, very careful with this. If he's not dead weight behind the red, he could be leaving the other one in the open into the green pocket. It's all about pace here. Oh, he's played it well. Good shot.
Yeah, that's all Shaun could do, so still advantage Neil, and he could use that yellow and brown as a blocker to the 2 red, just nudge this red over to the other one. The pink will come into play as well, so it could be another snooker here. Now is a path past the pink. Shaun just stepping back, letting referee Brendan Moore have a look, just in case the has to replay them because, of course, the referee needs to know what's sticking out of the red, if anything, and the way Shaun's thinking about it. And we'll have a look at his point of view. And no, there's no gap there. And this time, it's not as easy just to nestle on a red and leave it safe. So he's playing the swerve. Caught the red very thick, and he's going to leave it. He's going to leave it. So here's Neil Robertson's chance to take the first frame.
Yeah, and the green, John, as you said, knocked in a safe position a few moments ago, but for a left-hander, the green is not really that safe at all, so good chance now for Neil Robertson.
One.
Well, the fuse and ours is that red went in, but everybody thought the cue ball was going to go close to the corner. It did, but he was aware it wasn't going to go in off. But he's left himself a bit of a distance here between the cue ball and the blue. We should think a bit of ball to play. I think the yellow is not blocking the potting angle of the red to the far right corner. He's looking for this blue and one more red in the colour.
Well, he's looking at putting the cue ball somewhere in the vicinity of the yellow pocket, top left-hand corner pocket as we look.
Neil Robertson, one.
And again, played a good shot, but he'd be very disappointed. He couldn't have won the frame from that position.
Yes, that was a great chance. How many do you get?
Well, he took a major risk there, Shaun Murphy. Tried to play a clever shot, wanted to hit that quarter ball and took the cue ball behind the yellow, but hit it almost full ball. And again, another chance for Neil Robertson here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Shaun played it like that, a little bit firmer. That red could have kissed off the yellow and come down this end of the table. Now, just got to get this cannon right. He's missed the cannon.
One.
So another opportunity has gone here. He's had 3 clear-cut opportunities, and he's not made the most of them.
Yeah, and he had such margin for error there. I mean, he was trying to cannon that brown almost half ball, quarter ball. But missed it by quite some margin. Okay, he's putting the pink safe.
Robertson, one.
Makes it more difficult for Shaun Murphy, but problem is now for Neil Robertson, he's going to need that green. He's only 21 points ahead. Well, I'm just looking here, John. It'd be a risky shot, but can he lay the cue ball behind the pink here and knock the yellow to the top cushion? Very dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit too risky, but the one thing he doesn't want to do is move that pink away from the side cushion. And this is a good cue ball. And it's a good yellow as well. Couldn't have played that much better. Is the cue ball going to bounce? No. Well, I'm going to say not quite. But Neil still needs yellow and green. He goes for yellow. 2. Needs the green to go 26 points in front with only 22 remaining. Would you risk the double? Well, he did.
Neil Robertson, 2.
And he won't be too displeased with the outcome. I think he's got the snooker. Well, maybe there's just an edge sticking out. Just over the 30-minute mark for this important, very important frame, you feel, for Neil Robertson. And with the chances he's had, if he loses it, it would be a real body blow. But he'd only have himself to blame. Well, I never thought about that one. Lucky boy.
Years of practice, those shots, eh? Wow. What a fluke. Can he get it safe, Shaun Murphy? Oh, he's played it well. Well, hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh. It's like one of your trick shots, Shaun.
Well, the things that can happen on the snooker table, it never ceases to amaze you. You thought that fluke snooker by Neil would set him up the frame, but look at this. He's only thinking to get it safe. He's just absolutely perfect and got the snooker. And now Neil has got to hit the screen and leave it safe. And that's not going to be safe. So there's only the pink between Shaun Murphy and winning the first frame of the session. Somehow. Now, just leave an half ball blue. That's where he wants the cue ball to be, where he's pointing now. As I say, this will be a body blow to Neil Robertson. He's had so many chances. He's not screwed back far enough. He was looking for an half ball blue to cannon the pink away from the left side cushion. That's not an option now.
I'm just wondering, will he leave the double here? Screws back about 6 or 8 inches before the middle pocket on the right hand side. No.
Thank you. 12.
Had a look at it, didn't fancy it. Pink. Try and get it in the middle of the ball cushion. And the tighter the better.
Shaun Murphy, 12.
Very, very good. Excellent shot.
Yeah, it was a good shot. And I wouldn't say that puts Neil at a disadvantage. If he can play this with a ton of right-hand side, just look where he's going now. Past the left-hand side, the black. He's pointing there. If he could hit that pink full in the face, the cue ball would stay where the pink is, and he could even get a snooker. But he's got to hit it full. Anything but, as he looks at the scoreboard, anything but, then, well, he's not going to risk that one. But the problem with this, He's going to send it towards a corner, you feel. He's going to send it towards a corner. And now he's gifted the frame to Shaun Murphy. I can't believe he decided on that shot. Well, this is a frame that Neil Robertson should have won. He knows it. I don't think he's going to win it now. Well, he will be absolutely mortified, Neil Robertson. Shaun Murphy will be delighted. He always looks second best in that frame. It was a very important frame for Neil Robertson, but it's gone the way of Shaun Murphy. He now stretches his lead. Leads by 5, 7-2.
Such a key frame for both men this evening, and the 5-frame advantage is restored. It was all happening out there, Steve.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger time there for Neil Robertson in that frame. It all went wrong. He had most of it, and early on he was in prime position and played a very sort of lap shot when he actually sort of snookered himself, or hampered himself over the top of the red, and you know, he was in no real problems here. He just had to stun this in, keep high on the black, and all of a sudden he's got a very difficult black, and then it got even worse.
Yeah, it was a gift in the end for Shaun Murphy.
Well, it's not very often that he plays a very poor safety shot, but you couldn't help but agree with JV in there. If he plays it the other way, he's got a chance of getting it safe. But once you clip the amount of pink you can see there, there's only one place it's going to go, and that's towards the corner pocket. So it's a very strange choice of shot.
Can you assess the importance of that one in the context of how Neil Robertson has struggled so much to get a foothold in this match early on? What are your theories about why he has struggled so badly in comparison to that peak performance against Ronnie yesterday?
Maybe it's just that. I mean, it might just be the very much the case that O'Sullivan match yesterday took it out a little bit out of him. He'll know better than we will. He'll be able to answer that whatever the outcome. He'll be able to tell us. But sometimes after something, you know, he's world #1. He's coming to play O'Sullivan in the biggest venue, somewhere where he's played all the time, and you know, he won here last year, defending champion, and he wanted to put a marker down to show him he was the best player. And it can take it out of you. Yeah,
and that steal, from Shaun Murphy's point of view, what does it do to him sitting in his chair now?
Well, it's a frame that he shouldn't have won. He's won it. All of a sudden, he's off to a flying start, regardless of how he's won it. He potted the balls in the end to win the frame. And from Neil Robertson's perspective, it's debilitating.
OK, well, Murphy creeping towards this finishing line. Remember, 10 frames will win the Masters and that trophy.
Well, not a bad breakoff shot, but you can't even wonder what's going through Neil Robertson's mind at the moment, Ken.
Oh, amazing frame, and particularly the shot, as you pointed out, John. Pink was always going towards that yellow pocket, and he hit so much of it. And sometimes when you play those shots and you have so many chances to win a frame, we always say the snooker gods and the balls, they never forgive you.
Maybe there's an example if we just go over the 3-hour time. Shaun's not played the best safety shot there, knocked a red towards the corner, but the green's blocking the path to it. Well, for a moment it looked like it was going to be a telling safety, but that flick on the yellow has left a path through for Shaun to play an easy return to the balk end. There is a red, obviously, on the left-hand side of the table. It is potable, but that's Far too risky to play the pot on that. And that's a good shot. No baulk colour caught there. And there's no easy path back to the baulk end for Neil Robertson. Well, that was a pretty good effort, but somehow he's knocked a red over the corner, and unlike Shaun Murphy, he's not covered that the red is on. Tried to pot his way out of trouble. It was mighty close, and of course, where the red came, nudged another one over the corner, and there's a gap between yellow and brown. And as you said a few moments ago, it's like the snooker gods, the balls never forgive you, get your chances. Maybe it's just snooker players who think like that, but we've seen a couple of examples of it now, haven't we, in this frame?
Yeah, we've seen it so many, many times before also. Just little things happen.
Six.
Yeah, pink.
7.
Pots, and the red that's blocking the path of the black into the right corner is a bit of a problem at the moment. Can't get on that red right now, but
Immediately asking referee Brendan Moore to clean the cue ball. That suggests to me that he's
30.
absolutely dead straight on this red, and he can run it in for the black in the opposite corner. And that's what, okay, a little bit of a jump there, but if he's going to play the run through to play for the black, he doesn't want a heavy contact. It looks absolutely perfect.
40.
yeah. He's got on it perfectly well. And from our position here in the commentary box, that black didn't look on. But what an opportunity now for Shaun Murphy.
21. $22.
Well, it looks to have the angle on the black. Pot the black, come off the top cushion, and those two reds just to the right of the black. If he could hit the one immediately to the right of the black, he'd just make room to play for the black in the opposite corner here. Depends how you see it when you're down. Didn't fancy it. So the red he's played on, he'll have to go up for the blue. Now that's okay.
29.
As long as you get the good angle on the blue. Just doesn't want anything to go wrong, but sometimes you can be a little bit too careful.
$30.
But found a nice angle on the blue.
$35.
to have landed nicely on this red to stun it in and play for the black in the same pocket. Inch perfect.
36.
Now he'd love to have an angle on the black just to run the black in and nudge the red. And it looks perfect again. It's all easy peasy at the moment.
Yeah,
43.
just like this afternoon. Playing with
44.
the utmost confidence. Has the cue ball on a string at the moment. Pinpoint accuracy.
51. $52.
Yes, when he was on the black the last time, he had an opportunity to go into that little cluster of 4, but he feels as though there's enough loose reds without having to risk any cannons. And if you can do it without having to disturb something, fine, but he's short of pace here. So he's going to have to
59.
go up for the blue.
$60.
So this blue, one more red and a colour, and it'd be snookers required for Neil Robertson.
Well decided to play on the red close to the cushion. Doesn't want to be too straight on this red.
65.
Oh, lovely shot.
66.
Just how easy he can play that shot and get so much action on the cue ball. Great cueing. Into the pack now.
$73. Touching ball.
What Brendan Moore is called touching ball. Doesn't look like he has the red into the corner pocket, but the red always available to the left centre. This will definitely put pay to the frame, and there it goes in.
74.
And this has been a marvellous break. Possible 140 on here with 4 reds, 4 blacks
81.
and all the colours. We've already had 27 centuries
82.
in the tournament so far. This is good stuff, John. And I just wonder whether he would have been so confident had Neil Robertson won
89.
that first frame. It puts a different complexion on the whole match, doesn't it, those close frames?
90.
Oh, completely. Neil Robertson has had to sit out this and just still think about that first frame this evening. But you always say the best breaks are the ones where everybody in the crowd said, well, I could have potted that.
97.
And the reason is because the positional play was just absolutely inch perfect.
98.
This has been a masterclass. And the black for the 28th century of this year's Dafabet Masters. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He can't cue any better than this.
105. 106.
Possible 140, of course, the highest break. Held by Marco Fu, that marvellous maximum he made early on in the week. But Shaun won't be bothered about that. He's got his eyes on the prize.
150. 118. 122. 127.
Wow, what a pity. But up until then, that was sublime. Nothing Neil Robertson can do about it. One chance. Shaun Murphy has been doing it all week. Superb break, and now 6 clear as 8-2.
Yeah, second highest number of centuries in the Masters ever. 31 was the most in 2009, and that's another £100 for the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. Shaun donates £100 every time he makes a ton to that hospital. Wears the lapel, the logo on his lapel as well. Is there any way back here for Neil Robertson?
I think that last frame was just massive. You know, the one before he just made the century there, chipping the pink over the corner pocket in a frame he probably should have won. I agree with the boys in commentary, just a totally different perspective on the match. Does Shaun go and make the century? You never know. It's just, he'd have got closer there, but I think that was probably the final throw of the dice.
Yeah, 2 centuries, 3 more 50-plus breaks, a handful of 40s and 50s as well there, Steve. And can you explain to everyone who's just joined us for this final at home, didn't see it this afternoon, just what sort of form this man has been in today?
Well, throughout the whole tournament, you know, he started off with a pretty decent performance against Mark Selby, even though he didn't get over the line as well as he would have liked. He then sort of moved through the gears. He played a fantastic match against Steve Maguire and really stole the show. And now, you know, in this particular final, he's really been scoring so heavily. He looks so fluent around the table, so relaxed around the table, back to his brilliant best. And this type of form that I think took him to the World Championship, even though I think now he's even a better player than that. So whilst I've mentioned this afternoon, whilst we are looking very possibly at the Masters champion, he's also putting himself really in the frame for the World Championship with this performance.
Well, he's worked so hard on his safety and on being much more aggressive when the chances come. And it's been paying off. He's put in a heck of a lot of work over the last couple of years.
There's the tournament pot success. They were pretty level on that, 92%. But the pot success in the final. Well, Neil Robertson has dropped below 90%, and that's not a good sign. Shaun Murphy has just raised his game slightly, and that's catching a baulk colour. Could be costly. Well, he's going to leave this red as well. Didn't hit that very well, but this might give us a clue as to what Neil Robertson has got left. Has he still got belief that he can get back in this match? 2 more frames to be played before the mid-session interval. Got to dig now really, really deep.
1.
This isn't a good chance because the black's tied up.
Got to try and get on this red just above the black to the right here. And if he can leave a nice angle, may be able to dislodge the red just to the left of the black and bring the black into play.
6.
Yeah, I just looked at his facial expression there. He's just not got the perfect angle. Okay, he can develop the black, but he'd love to just nudge the red away and leave the black there, but that's not on. That's always the problem when you're playing that cannon. To judge how the black ball is going to bounce off the top cushion, and that's not good.
Well, he tried to push the boat out. Has it got enough legs?
Neil Robertson 7.
No. Tried to push the boat out, Neil Robertson there.
just caught the near jaw. If it had gone in, he'd have been happy with the result because he's left Shaun a nice easy starter. Shaun giving it plenty of thought. I don't know whether he's considering playing for the black immediately and trying to pot the black and go into that cluster of red below the pink.
One.
Interesting to see what he plays here, Ken. I thought you could have just rolled that red in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have tried to go up for blue and even still be on the black at the same time. Put the cue ball in such a position. As we look at the black here, the cutback, it was always a tough shot, wasn't it? Into the black pocket. And into a blind pocket, as we call it as well. And just as you said, John, once they hit the near jaw, not the best shot that Shaun Murphy has ever played.
Well, when he played his opening red, I was a little bit surprised that he played for the black in such a way.
Eight.
Well, I don't know why he didn't roll the red in, get his hand on the table, stun the black in and go into the cluster. This red is still cuttable. Oh, and it was potable into the top, but should have left something easier than that. So
Shaun Murphy, 8.
maybe, and it can happen. Just tighten up a little bit when the winning post is in sight. He'll be disappointed with that visit. Won't be disappointed with the scoreline, of course.
Thank you.
Well, Neil's knocked this red towards the right corner, and it may tempt Shaun, and the reason I say it may tempt him because he may have no other shot on. The other red will pot, of course. Well, just playing the roll down the table, wasn't really that concerned about anything as long as he didn't leave a pot on for his opponent. He's in complete control at the moment. No need to take any undue risks. Well, so close, and the worst thing of all, which he could never have envisaged, not only is it not gone in, he's got that close, it's at the two jaws, and it's on. It's possible.
One. Six. Seven.
Pink spot is held, so pink will go on the highest available, which in this case the yellow spot.
30.
He's left a wonderful angle on this red now. When he'd be potting, he'd be screwing off the apex of that cluster and back up for the blue, bringing some more reds into play. Looked like he was playing top spin there, but surely he can just screw back off it. Well, he maybe feels he can get back on the black from here. Not bad.
40.
Yeah.
21. 22.
Nice angle on the blue. Back down for the loose red. Just above the black. Doesn't want to get too much. Screw one out, and that's exactly what's happened.
27.
Yeah, just looking at Shaun's face, he's a little bit bemused, but I think he wanted to put a little bit of side on there, and he didn't have any side on, and it just came off the cushion, the natural angle. So that's why he didn't get on this red good. It is cuttable, but it's not as easy as he would have liked. Nope. Well,
Shaun Murphy,
cries have come on
27.
Neil, but there's not much to go at here. I get the feeling from the few shots he's played in this frame, Ken, that he's ready to attack Neil, but you can't just push the ball out willy-nilly.
Yeah, I'd go with that tough black and then the double, of course.
Pretty good, as long as he's covered those reds to the left corner. Good shot. Safety play throughout this match has been very good. Got to be careful here. The reds are nicely spread, and where is he taking the pot on? It's a tough one. No, he'll be needing a bit of luck here. He'll be needing a bit of luck. And I don't think he's got any. He's left a red to the right middle. And it's not too bad as the pink and blue are up that end of the table. I don't know if you could see that. Because he was digging down, you could see that cue ball bouncing halfway down towards the object ball. This is where it makes it nice now for Shaun. Play pink or blue and get one of them back on the spot. Certainly makes it easier for break building purposes. And when he pots this pink, I'll have a 35-point lead to build on.
7. Eight.
Good pot on the blue, bridging over that red just made it a little bit more difficult.
13.
The way he's been playing.
14.
Can't see anything but finishing the frame from this position. As you said, Neil tried to push the boat out on a couple of occasions in this frame and it didn't work.
17. $18.
Well, this looks just about perfect. What a beautifully controlled shot.
23.
Using the tree cushions. Excellent positional shot.
$24.
Wiped its feet.
It did, but that now puts him 52 points in front with only 51 remaining, and it's easy pink to follow as we watch that red struggle in. So it looks now
30.
as though he's going to be one frame away from that coveted triple crown.
31.
10 the target. He's got 9 of them. And Neil Robertson will not be coming back to the table.
37. 38.
No, what a shot.
Where's the red?
Where's the red going? Well, I'd say unlucky,
Neil
but
Robertson,
as
6.
the frame was won,
Shaun
Neil
Murphy,
Robertson won't be
38.
thinking he was unlucky, and Shaun won't bother either. It was a great shame. What a pot on the pink, but we've come to expect that in this final. And as I say now, just one frame away from winning the Dafabet Masters. He leads 9-2. And Ken, there's a few ways you can go in a match, isn't there? And Neil Robertson back against the wall. I think he decided at the start of that frame attack was the best form of defence, and here's a few of those pushing the bolt out shots you mentioned.
Yeah, well, it was a tough shot. I mean, going into the red, he felt that he was going to pot it, but here, and we spoke about the snooker gods and how they never forgive you, and this is a prime example of what can happen. He's playing the double, and he's playing it as a shot to nothing, John. If it doesn't hit the 2 cushions, it's never going to stay over the hole. And again, trying to pot his way out of trouble there. It was in a spot of bother, has to be said. Didn't see an easy safety shot and thought, well, I'm going to go down for it, and I'm going to go down trying to pot my way out. And he's found it very tough today. Very, very tough. Right from the beginning.
Yeah, we can all try and put our finger on why people struggle, but you just look at the fact that he lost the first 5 frames, and whenever you lose the first 5 frames at this level and against the quality of opponent
Settle down, please.
Shaun Murphy's class, it's always going to be tough.
Frame 12.
You're under pressure
Neil Robertson
every
to break.
frame. He got a bad start and he's never been able to recover. Can he take us past the mid-session interval? He's playing for pride now. Well, we've had a few records this week. Neil Sullivan bettering Stephen Hendry's career centuries. And if Shaun Murphy can win this frame, it'll be a record scoreline. 10-3 was the biggest margin of victory. He's not here, mate.
Stop calling out when they're at the table now, please.
Where's the black ball? Where's the black going?
Foul. Neil Robertson, 7.
Now, has he left the pot on? I think there's one to the right corner. He's looking to see if he can get position on the black. As I say, at the moment, no thought of winning this match, just playing for pride. That's all he can do. Needs good straight cueing here. This game doesn't get any easier when you're behind.
Well, you could have counted on one hand the amount of misses like that Neil Robertson has played all week.
1.
As you said, John, when you're 9-2 behind, every pot seems difficult.
Eight.
Can play for black or pink here. Well, he's decided to go for the blue.
9.
Not taking any chances and not taking his foot off the pedal either.
$11. 12.
Red right of the pink or left of the pink. Maybe his preference here.
Bramble.
Plenty of margin for error, and he's on that red nicely. I'm sure the pink pots into the bottom right hand corner pocket. Black
16.
also available.
Just over the 3.5 hour mark, match time. Nobody could see this type of margin of
17.
victory. Not a victory yet, but they look so closely matched on paper. But it has been the Shaun Murphy show. Neil's not been able to compete, particularly early on in the match. Got to get that first frame on the scoreboard early to settle, and he only got it on in the 6th frame. Well, not the best positional shot that from Shaun.
23.
And look at the difference in points scored. missed many with the rest.
Shaun Murphy, 23.
And having missed that red when he was in, you can't believe that he's left nothing for his opponent. That's the nature of the game. When I say he's left nothing, nothing easily. Maybe possibly a red. The one just below the pink goes to the left middle. Well, if the red does go to the left middle, and I think it does, I'd be playing it.
You've got to take it on, haven't you, John? He's looking at putting the cue ball up somewhere in the proximity of the yellow pocket as we look, but I mean, this is pretty straightforward shot to the left middle. Could leave the cue ball over towards the right middle and still be playing safe, so...
Well, I don't get this shot because he's going to leave Shaun Murphy a chance of a pot. I'd have rather have gone out with all guns blazing than just playing a safety like that, because if Shaun knocks this in, and it'll look a biggish pocket with the other red close to it, and gets position on pink or black, that could be Neil Robertson's last shot.
Well, he's on the pink. He's not on the pink to the green pocket. Not quite sure whether he can see enough into the green pocket, but certainly into the right centre. Will Neil Robertson rue not taking that red on to the left centre. Well, he has enough of it to the green pocket. It's a dead straight pot, and the way he's been cueing, you just can't see him missing this. If he holds the spot with the cue ball or just below it, he's never going to miss that, is he? Not the way he's been cueing. Never going to miss it. Not in the month of Sundays.
Seven.
Back out for pink again. Go up for the blue if he wishes.
8.
Got into it too much, but there you go. Another example of the snooker gods. We did mention about it after Neil Robertson lost that first frame. A frame he should have won tonight. Ever since then, nice little nudges like that. All gone for Shaun Murphy, but he's deserved it because he's played fantastically well today and indeed tonight.
$13. 14.
Well, the two reds, and the awkward two reds really are the ones near the top cushion, but you
20.
can win frame and match comfortably without even having to consider those two.
21.
He must be feeling good inside. Now a chance to play the red to the right corner, should he so wish. Having stood in that in, he could be on pink or black. I think Neil Robertson is not going to get back to the table now in the Dafabet Masters 2015. He'll be very disappointed, but as I say, when you get such a bad start as he had, losing the first 5 frames, it was always going to be tough, the form that Shaun Murphy has been in. on that pot success of 85% from Neil Robertson. Not good enough. On pot success as well from
35.
Neil Robertson, 36%, well below his norm.
36.
Just one more red and a colour, and the frame and match is in the bag.
42.
Looking at the scoreboard, just trying to work it out. This red will put him 59 points ahead, with only 59 remaining.
43.
And it's a simple black to get him in the 2 snookers required stage. Neil Robertson had a fantastic tournament. His victory against Ronnie O'Sullivan was special. But there was always a case of what that would take out of him. And the fact
51.
that Shaun Murphy was in such great form. Could he produce again? Wonderful stuff. You've just got to sit back and admire it.
57. $58. $60.
Well, he's just hit the reds hope for the best. It doesn't matter. Neil Robertson will come and shake his hand. They're great pals. And he's already been a Masters champion. But now, Shaun Murphy has got the Triple Crown under his belt. He's been superb all week. Fantastic snooker. Everything about him has just been absolutely superb. And the Murphy family, his mother Jean, who's come down for the first time to see him play. It'll be great disappointment for Neil Robertson. But what a fantastic performance from the magician. And he breaks the record. And he wins the Dapper Bet Masters 2015 by 10 frames to 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from both of our finalists today in what's been a terrific Dapper Bet Masters final for 2015. First of all, Neil, commiserations to you. You know what it takes to win this title before, Neil. And really, the damage was done this afternoon. You went 5-0 behind, Shaun powering ahead. How was it so difficult to get going for you today?
Yeah, it was just, the first session was very tough, being 6-2 down. Just a couple of shots probably being the difference between, maybe being 4-all and 6-2, really. Shaun played very, very well today. He's played fantastic all week. And, just today, no matter what I tried, I just couldn't produce, the sort of snooker that got me here to the final. But you've got to put a lot of that down to with how well Shaun played today. He was, brilliant in all departments. And, just like to say, welcome to the Triple Crown Club. Many probably... he's a worthy champion, and I think it's fitting that him, myself, and Mark Selby have all done it, within the sort of similar space amount of time, because we've all sort of turned pro around the same time as well. So, hopefully, this is our second final in the Masters, and if we both keep playing like the way we have been the last few weeks, last few seasons, then I'm sure we'll have many more.
Neil, wonderful words from you. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Neil. Thank you. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the master and the 10th member of Snooker's Triple Crown Club. Welcome. What a thrill.
I have to completely disagree with Neil. I don't want to play him ever again. If that's what it takes to beat world number 1, I want to stay number 11. I don't want to be it. It's just unbelievable. I can't believe it. You know, I was chatting today about the first time I ever came to this great event when it was at the old Wembley Conference Centre. I would have been 11 or 12. And, you know, my dad said, "Do you think you'll ever play here one day, son?" And I went, "Yeah, I'd like that. And to finally get the win and the crown is unbelievable.
5-0 up, absolutely motoring, but that ninth frame, first of the evening here, seemed to be a real conviction point for you, stealing that frame from Neil and knowing that there was still a 5-frame gap.
Yeah, well, I remember a few years ago he nicked a few of those type of frames against me, and they really hurt. And you know, I just decided to stick in there and be patient. And you know, in the end, I did get a chance to sort of nick the frame. And I think I actually sort of would have missed the pink, but it kicked and went in. And you know, I had a bit of luck throughout the match. But you know, in all, I've played pretty well this week, and I'm blown away.
You know, 2005 world title, 2008 UK title, 7-year itch, you've scratched it. Did you think it was going to take this long to finally complete the missing piece of the puzzle?
No, absolutely not. When I won the World Championships 10 years ago as a 22-year-old, I think I was, you know, I thought I was going to blitz through these events, but it wasn't to be. It didn't happen, and I've had to wait a long time and go through some ups and downs, or what, you know, on the table and stuff, and it's not been easy. This time last year, I considered going away from snooker completely, so you know what a difference a year makes.
And how did you turn that around? Why did you turn it around, and with whom?
You know, I just put too much in over the years with my family and friends and other people that have helped me. You know, my old coach years ago, Steve Prest, who's no longer with us. And, you know, there's been a lot of people that have helped me along the way. I've got some great support, some great friends around me. They all know who they are, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Speaking
of family, I know your mum's here. I know that your fiancé is here. In fact, this is the first time this week, ladies and gentlemen, that these two ladies have actually come to see Shaun play live. And I suspect that you're going to want them to come and watch you a bit more often now, yeah?
Yeah, just so you know, it's not always like this, you know. It doesn't always work out like this. You know, there's so many bad journeys home in the car, you know, annoyed with each other, and tomorrow's journey home will be much better.
I'm sure it will. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the great guys, and he's now confirmed that he's one of the all-time greats in snooker, Mr. Shaun Murphy. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your presentation party, Barry Hearn, Chairman of World Snooker, John Crukus, Head of Sponsorship at Dafabet, and Jimmy White, 1984 Masters Champion and Dafabet Ambassador. Your runner-up, receiving the silver medal and a cheque for £90,000, Neil Robertson. The winner, receiving a cheque for £200,000, the trophy and the title, 2015 Dafabet Masters Champion, Shaun Murphy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Shaun Murphy.
Yes, the 10th man to do it, joining Alex Higgins, Terry Griffiths, Stephen Hendry, John Higgins, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Williams, Neil Robertson and Mark Selby. All of them have won, at least once, by the way, the World, UK and Masters crowns. What a select group, and what a feeling that must be for Shaun Murphy today. Steve Davis, just describe what this means for Shaun Murphy's profile and his place in the game.
I think Shaun summed it up when he said that he's had to be very patient to finally get back really and truly in the winner's circle, whilst he's seen some of his other peers overtake him. He's a proud man. He's always been a student of the game, and I think from his perspective, he'll appreciate how much hard work's gone into it. And I think when he looks back, if he does at the match, he'll be very pleased with how he played in it, especially during this tournament.
And he's the 21st different winner of the Masters in the 40-year history of this event. And John, from what we've seen of him in the last, well, few months really, remember this is his 5th title in 12 months, and he's made 3 maximum breaks. He's completely turned his career around.
Certainly has, and from looking like somebody who occasionally would win a tournament but find it very hard all the way through, in this event he's just breezed through, and today he was very, very impressive. OK, his opponent never hit the giddy heights he's hit in the last 2 matches. Robertson really was under the weather today against him, but listen, he can only do his own job, and he was fantastic today. And when you can score as heavily as Shaun Murphy can score, you can win any tournament you're playing. But his all-round game's improved. His coach, Chris Henry's done a great job with him as well. I was chatting to him. He's done a fantastic job on changing a couple of little technical things in his cue action, and he deserves everything again. He works very hard.
A word about Neil Robertson today, because you could tell the disappointment, but very magnanimous in his words for Shaun Murphy. They're welcoming him to this Triple Crown club. But how should he reflect on his performance today compared with what we saw in the first couple of rounds here?
Well, it's never nice to get a drubbing in a final, that's for certain. But I think, you know, it's just one match. There is that to look at it. If you looked at his general standard during the tournament, it was very high. So he's got mixed feelings, but you can't argue with playing very well at the game, and he's done that. It's just, unfortunately, you judge yourself on winning and losing, and if your last match is a loss, you still beat yourself up.
Yeah, exactly, but he'll be back for more. Number one, and he has been a good 3 or 4 times now in the last couple of years, and he's shown what he's capable of in the last couple of matches against Ronnie and Ali Carter. But so much to reflect on over the last 8 days here at Alexandra Palace. It's been one of the great Masters, actually, and earlier in the afternoon session we asked you what is the shot of the championship. We gave you a selection and asked you to tweet which ones you reckon were the best, and our judges, Messrs Parrott and Davis, will now give us their 1, 2, 3. The nation awaits, gentlemen.
OK, this is the 3rd one. This is Ronnie O'Sullivan's shot. I commentated on this. You've really got into the bottom of the cue ball here. You've got to hit the middle red to bring these into play. Brilliantly cued, hit the middle red. Perfect, went on to win the frame. Great shot.
So that's number 3.
Yeah, in second position, Shaun Murphy, the other guy, just broke it off. Can't remember exactly who it was now, but Shaun Murphy was left with a long red. He just jacked his cue up in the air, smashed it in and screwed back past the blue. It was just an astonishing shot.
But this is the shot of the championship. As early on, it was against Mark Selby. He's got to play a stun run through with a little bit of side. He's got to flick it past the blue and between the yellow, up to get up the yellow, past the brown. Couldn't have hit that any better. Absolutely brilliant shot.
OK, so it's Shaun Murphy's winning everything here at Alexandra Palace at the moment. And obviously Ronnie's fluke yellow to equal Stephen Hendry's 775 centuries. I know it was a fluke, but it's still one of the most watched moments on YouTube, apparently.
I just loved his expression when he smirked and turned up. Look at Stephen, who's in the commentary box. Fantastic.
It's been one of the great moments here, both equalling that record, obviously, and then beating it against Marco Fu. And then we had Marco Fu's maximum break as well. And there's no doubt with the crowds flooding in here, 1,700, both sessions, more or less every day here over the last 8 days. This is one of the great venues for snooker. But the place that we all love to return to, the Crucible Theatre, there was news today, World Snooker announcing that there is a 2-year extension to the deal that will keep the World Championship in the Steel City of Sheffield at the Crucible Theatre until 2017, and that will be the 40th anniversary since the championship first turned up there in 1977. The World Snooker Chairman Barry Hearn had this to say about the news.
It's really good news, you know, we love the history of the World Championships and the excitement of the Crucible, the uniqueness of Sheffield, and we've always said that everyone's always telling us one day we're going to China, one day we're going to move, and we've always said, we've been consistent in saying that while we've got the support of Sheffield and while we've got the support of the BBC, nothing changes. So today I'm really pleased to say that, you know, after some very friendly negotiations, we've reached agreement with Sheffield City Council to extend our occupancy at the Crucible until 2017, which will in turn also see the celebration of 40 years.
We've been there 38 years together, and it would be sad and disappointing for all of us if we lost that relationship. So I thank World Snooker because, as I say, I'm aware that you know, there were probably other cities and countries across the world wanting to sort of make offers to them, but we always know that the Crucible itself and the city with World Snooker is something that would have been extremely sad to lose.
Well, it continues there to 2017 at least. And before we know it, the World Championship will be upon us, with Mark Selby hoping to do what no returning first-time champion has ever done, and that's retain the trophy and the title the following year. But with the likes of Shaun Murphy and Neil Robertson, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Judd Trump and so many others all in the frame, snooker is truly in rude health at the moment, and they're all jostling position ahead of the annual Crucible Marathon, which, as you'll see, starts on the 18th of April. Now, I talk about the health of the sport. You get the feeling that snooker really is on the rise. It's on the up at the moment, Steve.
It is, and it's funny. Sometimes a guy in the street thinks that snooker's dying. Yeah, it is bizarre how it's happening. Yeah, there's not so many snooker clubs in the UK, but when you look worldwide, what's happened, the explosion is enormous. And when you see the crowds like this, you realise the game's still popular.
This has been the indicator. This has been unbelievable. I've never known a week. We had to put extra 200 seats in, and they've been full virtually every day. Game's in rude health.
It sure is, and I think that makes for a very interesting championship. I'm not going to ask you for your pick, but as I say, so many guys all going to be right in there in April. In just a few months, it will be upon us before we know it, gentlemen. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your company.
Pleasure.
It's been a great 8 days here in North London, and when we look at that final, it was a bit more emphatic than any of us could have expected. The world number one, who'd been so invincible early on, has been beaten, and it's Shaun Murphy who is the master for 2015. From us all here, thanks for your company. Catch you again soon. Bye.